Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Oh, we are back and back in peak form off the long weekend. Mr. Singleton, how we feeling on this Tuesday?
Cannot complain, brother. What's going on?
It's officially official visit week in Norman, America. We are 3 days away from the Sooners welcoming their first crop of official visitors to town. So needless to say, it's going to be a jam-packed show. It's going to be a jam-packed week here on Locked In, brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Hit us up on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439, if there's anything in particular that you want to chat about. And Grayson, yesterday was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We did not have to do a show. However, I was still on the clock yesterday. Got the chance to head down to Phoenix, check out Desert Edge High School, which is one of the most loaded high school programs in the entire country in terms of P4 talent. And I tell you what, man, I'm going to have a feature dropping on Soonerscoop.com tomorrow with Oklahoma defensive back commit Michael Davis, whom we have talked about every so often on this show for about 6 months or so, ever since he committed. I believe it was in November that he locked in the decision to be an Oklahoma Sooner. I am even more sold on this kid than I was before. After getting the chance to interact with him, watch him work out with his team for an afternoon at Desert Edge, talk to his coaches about the player and person that he is, and talk to some of his teammates as well, and we will talk about a couple of those teammates in addition. But, man, Michael Davis is one of those guys. It feels like the observation that we've continually made for months and months and months and months now is, how on earth is this kid still a three-star? Because that junior tape that he put up for the Scorpions, wildly impressive, and not hard to figure why he was an early priority for Oklahoma in the 27 cycle.
Yeah, no, it seems like everybody still has him as a high 3-star, and this could be potentially a dude that we track through his senior year and say, okay, at what point is this tape going to warrant him a 4-star? At some point. And I feel like in terms of guys that could climb a star during their senior year, I think Michael Davis would be at the top of that list or around the top of that list as well. So, no, that would be interesting for me to be able to follow. 5'11", listed at 170 going into last year. I'm going to guess he's a little bit heavier now, Parker Thune.
I believe he told me yesterday he's about 180.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So good size for a corner there. Obviously, to go along with the tape, that's going to be huge. But it's interesting. I think that guy could get a little bit of a bump and get some 4-star love at some point.
And it hasn't helped him. It won't help him that he doesn't really do any camps, which is big for exposure's sake.
Sure.
And people are going to ask, well, why does exposure matter? Exposure matters because as far as the evaluators are concerned, as far as the people that are building the rankings and applying ratings to individual players, they're going to feel more certain about elevating a kid to blue chip status and officially planting that flag if they get multiple opportunities to see him with their own two eyeballs in multiple different competitive settings. Because if all you're going off is the tape, there's a lot of subjectivity there.
Sure.
You know, one person can see something, another person can see something completely different. And so there's just a lot. There's going to be a lot of varying opinions when you're just talking about scouting what's on tape. But you get an opportunity to watch a guy in person, up close, get an idea of the verified measurables, and also watch him compete against some of the nation's elite. You get to watch him line up against some of the best receivers in the region and in the country. If you're an evaluator, if you're a scout, if you're somebody that has a hand in the rankings, you're going to be more comfortable essentially planting your flag with Michael Davis and be willing to say, yep, this guy's a blue chipper if you have that in-person evaluation to back up what you feel like you see on tape.
And let me ask you this, too. Why doesn't he do a lot of camps?
Just because he doesn't really care.
Okay.
And I asked him yesterday. I
Fair
asked him
enough.
straight up. I was like, hey, do you care about any of this ranking stuff? He said, I don't care at all. I don't care at all.
Well, I mean, especially now because he's locked in with Oklahoma, there's no really reason for him to care.
Correct, and he made the correct observation as well. Once you set foot on a college campus, none of that matters anymore.
Yeah.
None of that matters because by the end of his first spring at Oklahoma, the expectations that we're forecasting, the burden that we're putting on his shoulders in that regard is going to be dictated not by what he did in high school, but by what he's done on the practice field in Norman. For instance, we rewind to the 2026 cycle. I don't know that Tank Carrington was somebody that we were drooling over based on the tape, based on some of the weight concerns that he came in with, but then he gets to campus, has a really strong spring, and all of a sudden people are talking about him. We're talking about him as a potential rotation guy, back-end rotation guy, but rotation guy nonetheless for Oklahoma at defensive tackle this fall as a true freshman. So, as soon as you sign the dotted line, it doesn't matter anymore how many stars you had, what your national ranking was. What matters is making plays. What matters is proving to that coaching staff that you belong on the field. S. Rob Booman says, Desert Edge, home of the Scorpions. Yes, indeed. That's an awesome mascot, by the way.
And it kind of fits the geography, too.
It very much fits the geography. I did not see any scorpions down there in Arizona, but it was hot.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay, good for you.
Do you usually see scorpions when you go down there?
Well, the one time I've been to Arizona, yes, I did see a scorpion
okay.
or two. Yeah.
Okay.
Same for New Mexico.
Yeah, I pretty much I shuttled from the airport to...
Oh, so you flew?
I did fly.
Okay.
Yes.
I wouldn't put it past you to drive.
Oh, heck no. You think...
You wait, no. You cannot act like that just came out of nowhere.
Oh, no, I get you.
Because you drive pretty absurd distances.
I do drive pretty absurd distances. However, that's a 14-hour drive to get to Phoenix.
I know.
And so ain't no way I would have made that trip yesterday and then been back for the show today. If I were going to drive that, I would have just taken the day off.
Oh, that was a day trip for you.
Yes. So I flew in yesterday morning.
Got it.
I flew out yesterday evening.
I got you.
And so, yeah, thankfully, got a direct from Southwest OKC to Phoenix and back, and quick and easy.
Good.
Light work.
Good.
What else we got on the text line? Chris from Knoxville says, well, Bodie Sparrow and Jacoby Dixon got fonged to OU. I guess that's news, LOL. And I guess that feeds right into the discussion about official visitors this weekend because both of those guys are due on campus. And, yes, the expectation is that Bodie Sparrow and Jacoby Dixon are both going to wind up in OU's class. Here's where things differ a little bit with regard to those two recruitments. The timeline is going to be different for those two, I do believe. Jacoby Dixon's only taken one official visit. His OV to Oklahoma is the only one he's got scheduled. I don't think there's a whole lot of guesswork required to figure what's coming down the pike in his recruitment. But Bodie Sparrow, on the other hand, is going to OV Oregon, Utah, and BYU before he makes a decision, and he's been pretty adamant that he's not going to commit before he has the chance to take all four of his OVs. So, yes, Oklahoma gets that guy on campus this weekend, but I don't expect a decision from Sparrow until late June at the earliest. We're probably still looking at about another month, best case scenario, before we find out where he's going to be playing his college football. But I think here's what's good news amidst all of that, Grayson, is that the buzz in Sparrow's recruitment really hasn't varied at all. There hasn't been any ebb and flow there, seemingly, for several months. The feeling, not just locally but nationally, ever since maybe January, February, has been that, Bodie Sparrow is going to wind up in Oklahoma sooner. And so just the knowledge that there's been a stability there leading into OV season, if at all you are concerned about Oklahoma getting the first trip of Sparrows and not the last one, that gives you a little bit more confidence, I think, that the Sooners are going to be able to sustain this momentum.
I read your note early this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's Utah that seems to have kind of climbed into second place now?
Yeah. Yeah, had a few conversations because I thought it was BYU. I thought BYU was the school that was best positioned to kind of crash the party for Oklahoma, if anybody could. But in having some conversations late Friday with a couple sources close to that recruitment, there's a feeling that, no, if for whatever reason he doesn't wind up a Sooner, it would probably be Utah.
Interesting.
Which, I guess for a kid like that, I can see it. His head coach at Utah is a former Ute safety in Morgan Scalley, a guy who was a really, really good one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to imagine that plays into things from Sparrow's end, but Oklahoma leads the race. I mean, they've got the inside track. There's no question about it. They get all 3 Utah boys on campus this weekend in conjunction with one another. Sparrow, Crew Jones, who's committed. Uhila Wolfgram as well. So Colin Claremore wants to know, and this is kind of the obvious question right now, with the knowledge that Oklahoma's trending really well for Jacoby Dixon. What does that mean for TJ Lewis? We touched on this a little bit last week. TJ Lewis out of Bolingbrook, Illinois, is still scheduled for an Oklahoma official visit. It has been moved back, though. His official visit is now going to be a midweek, June 3rd and 4th. He was originally supposed to be in town this coming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, infer what you will from that, but what I will say is that my expectation right now is that Oklahoma's running back class ends up being Keldred Ben and Jacoby Dixon. Those two. They're childhood friends. Ben's committed. There's not really much of a concern about him bouncing somewhere else. He's obviously OVing Florida and Oregon. But Dixon is on track to commit to OU. Ben's already locked in. The Sooners are not in a position to take 3 backs. They just aren't. And so many will recall there was a situation that unfolded somewhat similar to this one in the 2024 cycle when the Sooners hosted Xavier Robinson for a midweek official like maybe 3 or 4 days before Taylor Tatum and Caden Durham were both in on the same weekend. Robinson committed, and then Tatum jumped on that last spot, and Oklahoma had to let Caden Durham go to LSU because they didn't have room for 3 running backs. And so it's something like that I think inevitably is going to play out here. If, for whatever reason, things go sideways with either Ben or Dixon, which is not the expectation right now at all. But if on the very, very slight chance something goes wrong there, TJ Lewis, as I understand it, is the insurance policy for Oklahoma.
Sure.
He's waiting there. He's eager to take the visit, has a great relationship with Dylan McCullough, but it's really just a question of whether the spot is there by the time he makes it to campus. And, I mean, does that visit even take place if
Right.
Jacoby Dixon is committed by this time next week? I mean, if you're asking me, I would say the answer is no.
And let's just say if there are some unforeseen circumstances, whether maybe Dixon doesn't commit or some chicanery happens with Keldred Ben, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not immune to that. But if that spot opens up, is Oklahoma by default the leader for TJ Lewis, or would they still have a mountain to climb over, I don't know, one of the Big Ten suitors for him?
Right this second, here and now, 2:13 p.m. on May 26, 2026, Oklahoma leads for TJ Lewis. Oklahoma could have TJ Lewis if they wanted to have TJ Lewis.
Got you.
Like, if there is a spot, I have full confidence TJ Lewis is going to jump on it at Oklahoma. He's down to 3 officially. It's Oklahoma, it's Indiana, it's Illinois. If it doesn't wind up being Oklahoma, I expect it to be Illinois. But again, it's really just a question of whether there is a slot for him to fit into.
Okay, so in that case, is it something with TJ Lewis's schedule as to why he couldn't fit in one of these weekend OVs for Oklahoma?
No, I think it's just I think there's a lot that has gone into the way that Oklahoma has navigated this situation with the 3 backs, but I think the big thing is Oklahoma was enamored with Jacoby Dixon's sophomore tape.
Gotcha.
He had an injury-plagued junior year, but if you're betting on the bounce back, the ceiling with Jacoby Dixon is incredibly high. That combined with the fact that he's good buddies with Keldred Ben just kind of makes it seamless, you know?
Yeah.
It makes it fit, makes it right. And TJ Lewis, having never been to campus before, being a guy that's from a rather lightly recruited state as far as OU is concerned, I think it's just It's only natural that this is the way you would draw it up if you have your druthers, and Oklahoma does. And so I think there's a little bit of a preference right now for Dixon, as evidenced by the fact that they kept his OV on track for this weekend while sliding things back with Lewis. And look, Lewis is a really good running back. Let's not get it twisted.
That's why I'm asking the question is did Oklahoma present this preference for Jacoby Dixon over TJ Lewis?
Yeah.
Or is there some scheduling things? Because the way I look at it, having watched both of their tapes, I'm not really sure that I like either one over the other.
Yeah, and that's entirely fair. And I can remember, the day we first talked about TJ Lewis on the show after he picked up the Oklahoma offer, I think you and I both watched the tape and thought, okay. This is a serious player. And there's not a bad outcome here. I'll keep it up. If Oklahoma loses Keldred Ben, a class of Jacoby Dixon and TJ Lewis is still awesome.
Yeah.
Still awesome. And all three of these guys, man, they fit the mold of what Dylan McCall is looking for. Ben is 5'10", 5'11", about 225.
Mm-hmm.
Dixon's about 5'10", 215. Lewis is 6 foot 215.
Yep.
You're talking about big, bruising backs with good hips, good open field elusiveness, good speed.
Did I ever tell you who my TJ Lewis comp was?
No,
Did I ever say that on this show?
I don't think so.
Well, I watched this tape and I thought it looked like Jay Ajayi
Okay.
from a while back.
Dude, Jay Ajayi was a movie in college.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lot of fun to watch at Boise State.
Yep.
I think he had a couple decent years in the NFL, but never quite
Won a Super Bowl.
Did he really?
Yeah. Was he not on the Eagles Super Bowl team?
Good call. No, he would have been. You're right. I'd forgotten about that. Jay Ajayi. I like that. 405-651-3439. That is the First Liberty Bank text line. Now, the show is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, why not a GMC, which offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. The folks out at Dorsey Jones would be happy to help get you behind the wheel of a brand new GMC. So head out to El Reno, check out Dorsey Jones, and circle back with us on the other side of the break right here on Locked In. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Hey there, Ref Army. It's Dory Noka. Name coming up. Host of the Dory Noka Show and lead anchor of the SEC Network. Catch Josh Helmer and myself every weekday, 9 to noon, as we'll talk everything OU and the SEC. No better way to listen to us, 9 to noon, than by downloading the KREF app, powered by Warren Cat. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store, search for KREF, and you'll never miss a show, no matter what, no matter where you go. That's the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat. Whatever the job, whatever it takes.
Hi, this is Dylan Buckingham. As a parent of two boys who have faced life-threatening health challenges, our family knows when your child is sick, everything changes. Suddenly, nothing matters more than finding hope. For our family, that hope came through the care and support made possible by the Children's Health Foundation. They're advancing research, improving treatment, and standing beside families all across Oklahoma. Because every child deserves hope, healing, and a healthy future. Join us at chfkids.com.
It's that time of the year again here at Seth Wadley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. What time of the year is that? It's time for the declaration of deals. And only the king of trucks in Pauls Valley can make it better. No games, no gimmicks, no hidden surprises. Just real people, real prices, and a team that treats you like neighbors. Right now until the end of the month, you can take $15,000 off MSRP on new 2026 Ram 1500 trucks. That's $15,000 off Bighorns, Laramie, Tradesman, and select limited models. Plus, make no payments until Labor Day. That also comes with America's best full-size truck powertrain warranty of 10 years and 100,000 miles. And as always, get more with Seth's promise of oil changes and engines for life on anything you buy, new or used, and no additional cost to you. So get to the store with more at Seth Wadley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where the truth costs less. I-35 exit 72 Pauls Valley, or click SethWadleyDodge.com. $15,000 off MSRP on select new 2026 Ram 1500 models. Stock number T213966.
No matter what a strong future looks like to you, you can start building it with a home equity line of credit. Hi, I'm Adam Hurst with Armstrong Bank. There's no time like the present to take advantage of your home equity. From home renovations to wedding expenses, vacations to new cars, the future is yours with a HELOC from Armstrong Bank. Visit armstrong.bank/HELOC to get started. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Looking for friendly service and delicious chicken? Head to the 12th Avenue Chick-fil-A to dine in, pick up, or get delivered. We're ready to serve you. Try the new Jalapeno Ranch Club on a buttermilk ranch bun with pickled jalapenos, lettuce, tomato, pepper jack cheese, and candied bacon. Get it classic, grilled, or spicy. And don't miss the seasonal strawberry hibiscus drinks, lemonade, or iced tea. Call 405-310-3189 or order on the Chick-fil-A One app. 12th Avenue Chick-fil-A. Eat more chicken.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to thrive by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities, and support on their path to employment. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full potential. Learn more about Children International by going to children.org today.
Locked in here on the Ref, the Oklahoma Sooner fans. Parker, Thune, Grayson, Singleton. Oklahoma is not worried really at all about Keldred Benn and whether he may flip to Oregon or Florida. Why are they not worried? I will explain to you in just a moment. First, though, a quick spin on the First Liberty Bank text line. Frisco Sooner says, Parker and Grayson, wasn't Ajayi another Frisco kid? He was. Frisco Liberty.
Frisco
Good
Liberty,
call.
yep.
Well done. Just like Ashton Genty, right? Ashton Genty was a Frisco Lone Star. Speaking of Lone Star, Oklahoma offered another 2028 quarterback.
Yes, they did.
Over the weekend. Trey Wright, fifth quarterback offer in the 2028 cycle for the Sooners. That kid's a playmaker, man. Real electric football player. We've got plenty of time to dig into his recruitment, kind of figure out where Oklahoma stands there, and just to examine the overall vibe as it pertains to Oklahoma's pursuit of not just Wright, but their other targets in 2028 at the quarterback position. But Grayson, when I was at Desert Edge High School yesterday, not only did I get the chance to touch base with Michael Davis, but I also got to chat with our recruit of the day, the number 2 overall player in the 2028 cycle, and a guy that just a couple of weeks ago put Oklahoma in his final 6. Yes, 2028 kid, 5-star prospect, but already down to 6 schools. Jelani George, outstanding edge rusher, originally from Brooklyn, New York, now at Desert Edge High School in Goodyear, Arizona, has Oklahoma among the 6 schools that will do battle for his commitment the rest of the way. And this kid is what it's supposed to look like, Grayson.
Yeah, no kidding. Cat's a monster out there. And it's one of those, I always say this, I've said this about Gabe Osborne before, but there are some people that look like they're ready for a bigger stage. You know, like what Cooper Flagg's mom used to always tell him is like, if you're the best person in the gym, go find another gym. And that's what I look at when I watch Jelani George, because it's a man amongst boys. He's a grown man, got a full beard. Even if you look at pictures of him, I know you just visited with him, Parker. Dude looks like he's about as old as you and I are in our mid-20s. Mm-hmm. So, and he's got the body and the frame that is very filled out for a 17, 18-year-old, however old he is, probably might be 16. Anyway, no, this dude's a real deal. This is what a 5-star looks like, and the film is going to back up every assertion you would have when you see 5-star number 2 player in the country.
And Oklahoma's going to have a shot here. They've got good inroads there at Desert Edge with George, with his coaching staff, with obviously several of his teammates, including OU commit Michael Davis. I'll have a lot more from my trip to Desert Edge over the next few days over on Soonerscoop.com. But again, Jelani George, 5-star edge rusher, is our recruit of the day, brought to you by Keystone Property Management.
And by the way, Keystone Property Management is a 5-star company as well. Give them a call at 405-368-1836 or visit them online at keystonepmok.com. If you're looking for 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhomes in the North OKC and Edmond area, give our friend Drew England a holler. Again, 405-368-1836.
Okay. So let's dive into the Keldred Ben situation, because it's something that people are going to continue to ask about, regardless of how many times I say Oklahoma's not really worried about Keldred Ben. They're not really worried about the possibility that he could wind up flipping to Oregon or flipping to Florida, which is those are the two schools outside of Oklahoma with whom he is going to take official visits. Now, here is the reason, Grayson, and in having a bunch of sourced conversations over the last few days, here's the reason why there's not much of a concern on the Oklahoma side about Ben. And it just kind of gets some clarity on this whole situation. I dug in with not only folks on the Oklahoma side of things, but sources at Oregon, sources at Florida as well. And the reality of the situation is that Oregon and Florida both have one spot left in their 2027 class for a running back. Each of them already have one running back committed. For Florida, it's Andrew Beard out of the state of Georgia. For Oregon, it's Kadarius McMiller out of Tyler, Texas. And so each of those schools is only recruiting for one more spot. Keldred Ben is going to the University of Florida this weekend for his first official visit. He will not be the only running back on campus with the Gators for an official visit. So, too, will blue-chip running back Trey Martin out of Winsboro, Louisiana. Similarly, when Keldred Ben goes to Oregon the following week, June 5th through the 7th, he will be there fresh on the heels of Oregon hosting 4-star, borderline 5-star running back Landon Williams-Callis, known to the streets as Black Jesus.
Yes.
Out of the state of Texas.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So here is what I have determined in talking with a multiplicity of sources about this situation. What's become apparent, and I've had several different folks express this basically outright, the guy Florida really wants is Trey Martin. The guy Oregon really wants is Landon Williams-Callis.
Yes.
Who has family ties to the state of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
He's cousins with the Rogers brothers, James and Jaquiz, who starred at the college level at Oregon State.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, and Jaquiz had several good years in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
as a handcuff to first it was Michael Turner, and then who was that? Was it Todd Gurley?
No, he was there. He was the number 3 behind Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman.
Okay, is that what it was?
Because I think that's where they went right after the days of Michael Turner.
Mm-hmm. But Oregon really wants Landon Williams-Callis. Florida really wants Trey Martin. Those are both highly coveted guys.
Huh.
Nationally coveted guys. How do you put pressure on guys like that to go ahead and just lock it in and commit?
Go ahead and bring another blue chipper into the conversation.
You use leverage.
Or bait.
And who is a better leverage guy than Keldred Ben, Grayson? Because at every juncture, he and his family have expressed to the Oklahoma staff and have expressed publicly, Keldred has said it publicly, I know where home is. I'm signing with Oklahoma. Oklahoma's where I'm at. But also, he has never said no to any school that has tried to get him on campus for a visit. He's always been willing to entertain the possibility of taking a trip to some other school, be it Texas or USC or Notre Dame, whoever. Like, he's always been very open in that capacity. And so, if you are Rashad Samples, the running backs coach at the University of Oregon, or you are Coach Foster down there at Florida, and you need to bring in a leverage guy, there is no better leverage guy than somebody who is really highly regarded. Ben is the number 6 running back in the country and a top 100 prospect.
Player.
But somebody whom you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, okay, he's not committing here. But yet he's still willing to show up. He's firmly committed somewhere else, but he's still willing to show up. And then, if you don't have to worry about trying to put out a fire and figure things out on the fly if that kid has an amazing time and shuts it down and wants to commit, because that's just not going to happen, then what can you do when you go and meet with Trey Martin down there in Gainesville, or you go and meet with Landon Williams-Callis when he's up there in Eugene, Oregon? You can tell those kids, hey, look, we got one spot left. I want this spot to be yours. But if you want it, you better jump on it, because there's this kid in town that's committed to the University of Oklahoma. And why would he be here for an official visit if he wasn't serious about claiming that spot?
And also, even though it's a somewhat firm commitment to Oklahoma, it's not as if he has pushed off any opportunities to engage with or flirt with other schools, too.
Glenn from Nashville asked, is the Ben kid aware that he's being used by Oregon and Florida to put pressure on other running back? I mean, look, Glenn, I don't think Keldred Ben cares.
Yeah.
Again, like, this strikes me as tourism from Ben's side. He's milking the process for all it's worth, not trying to squeeze more money out of Oklahoma, not trying to get anything out of the experience other than the experience itself. The experience of being a highly coveted football recruit who is being pursued and hosted and brought to campus on free trips by some of the finest football programs in the nation. And that was the one thing that he never really got to experience throughout this process because he committed to Oklahoma so early. Evan from Blanchard said, I say we get TJ Lewis to commit, then cut bait with Keldred Ben and leave him stuck back with McNeese.
Whoa.
Well, that ain't happening. If Keldred Ben didn't sign with Oklahoma, he would sign somewhere in the P4. And we're talking about a high-level P4 program. He is very, very desirable in the eyes of basically everybody. I mean, there are offers that he hasn't posted. There are schools that have recruited him that he's never publicly acknowledged. But regardless of what you think of the 3 backs that are in the picture for Oklahoma, how they stack up against one another, or what you think of the way that Keldred Ben has navigated the whole recruitment process, here is the indisputable, immutable reality of the situation. He is Oklahoma's A1 priority at running back. Retaining Keldred Ben is the thing that they care about the most.
Yeah, and
they have acted as such.
And no matter what you think about Jacoby Dixon or TJ Lewis, Keldred Ben is unquestionably the better of the 3. Now, we can have conversations about whether you would like to have TJ Lewis or Jacoby Dixon as the number 2 running back, but that's after we get through the preliminary process of understanding that Keldred Ben is the number 1 in this class.
Daryl the 918 Redneck said, elaborate, define Black Jesus, please. It's Landon Williams-Callis' nickname. That is his childhood nickname because he's really good at football. Also not that big.
No, he's really not.
He's about 5'7".
Uh-huh.
But he can play. He can play. Somebody posted it the other day. He's got like 155 touchdowns over the course of his high school career to this point, which is absurd.
His high school tape is pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And then you're like, wait, this dude's 5'7"?
Soonerman93 says, I can't blame the kid for wanting to travel for free. Oh, man, like as long as you have Oklahoma's blessing, or at the very least their agreement to let you do that, and Oklahoma has reluctantly agreed to let Keldred Ben take other visits, just like they've done with Trayvon Hall. As long as Oklahoma's okay with it, no harm, no foul. Again, there is not much concern at all. There's virtually zero concern that Keldred Ben is going to sign anywhere but Oklahoma. Now, the other Oklahoma commit that's going to Florida this weekend.
Uh-oh.
That's a different conversation entirely.
Is this Trayvon Hall?
Yeah, Trayvon Hall.
Okay.
I don't think it's a secret if you listen to the show with any regularity. Like, you can't really count on Trayvon Hall in the class right now. I mean, yeah, he's verbally committed. but he's been about as non-committal as a commit gets over the course of the last 6 months of this process. And so he takes his OV with the Gators this weekend. They're really pushing. They're putting the same Percy Harvin message in his ear that they did with David Gross at this time last year. And so who knows, man, whether it's Florida or whether it's somewhere else. Like, yeah, Trayvon Hall, if I had to pick a guy that drops out of Oklahoma's class at a certain point in time, I think that's the very clear-cut number one candidate.
Well, I feel like if you listen to this show every day, the betting odds of that would be for Trayvon Hall to be the first one is like minus 125, and everybody else is like a plus 600.
Nah. Heavy favorite.
Heavy favorite.
Heavy favorite. But, again, the great thing about coaching at the University of Oklahoma, recruiting on behalf of the University of Oklahoma, is that you never really have to worry about the wide receiver position because, there are always going to be talented wideouts that want to come play football in the Crimson and Cream in Norman, Oklahoma. Let's dig into some other official visits taking place this weekend, not just at Oklahoma, but official visits to other schools for high-priority Oklahoma targets this weekend. We will discuss that and much more, hit more of your texts, answer your questions as we wrap up Locked In here on a Tuesday. Next, this is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
Beats and Bites is back for its 10th anniversary. Join us to celebrate a decade of delicious food, incredible live music, and unforgettable memories at Riverwind Casino. The party starts Saturday, June 13th with Cheap Trick and Gin Blossoms. Book your tickets online or at the box office for only $10. And we'll see you at Riverwind.
Spring is here, a season of color, growth, and new beginnings. At Markham's Nursery, we have everything you need to make your spring truly special. From beautiful trees and hardy shrubs to vibrant perennials bursting with color. We have a huge selection of fruits and vegetables, roses and soils, everything you need to get your spring on the move. Helping generations grow in Oklahoma for over 50 years. Come grow something beautiful this spring. Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Our favorite Antwerp diamond supplier is in the store June 4th through June 6th. Choose from perfectly matched sets for earrings, gorgeous diamonds for a proposal, or an amazing selection for pendants. Our prices and selection simply cannot be beat. Let us show you why our diamonds shine the brightest. Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street.
Hey, it's Tyler McComas here. If you're like me and looking for a better auto repair experience, you're going to love what's coming to South Oklahoma City, Moore, and Norman. I've been learning about Bosch Auto Service, and they open June 1st at Southwest 34th in Santa Fe. Trust me, this isn't your typical shop. Whether you need a quick oil change, new tires, or have that dreaded check engine light, you'll know exactly what's happening with your car. You can improve everything before it starts, and you never pay just to find out what's wrong. Search Bosch Auto Service and check it out. Bosch Auto Service, keep life moving.
Hi, this is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management, and we've been working with the residents of Norman for over 20 years as we help them solve questions about their cash flow, retirement savings, or tax planning. We also offer portfolio management solutions to help people meet their financial goals. We would love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
For over 30 years, CertaPro Painters has been part of countless memories. Every wall tells a story, and we've been proud to help write them. We are more than just your local painters, with care, craftsmanship, and certainty. From the first brushstroke to the final smile, our promise is simple. Your home, beautifully painted and worry-free. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Right now at Bob Hurley RV, we've got more ways than ever to get into the right RV. Choose from the largest inventory in Oklahoma. Get payments starting as low as $89 a month and take 90 days before your first payment. Plus, enjoy free camping for a full year. It's everything you need to get started this summer without the wait. Bob Hurley RV. Compare with confidence. You choose what fits. Shop us anytime online at bobhurleyrv.com. That's bobhurleyrv.com. Start your adventure here.
It's locked in here on the ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune, Grayson Singleton, one final segment to spend with you before we turn it over to Tyler and Ted for another outstanding installment of The Rush. 405-651-3439. That's how you chime in on the First Liberty Bank text line if you got questions. And we mentioned Keldred Ben and Trayvon Hall, two Oklahoma commits, traveling to Florida this weekend for official visits, Grayson. But if we're looking at key OU targets that are visiting elsewhere this weekend, I think that conversation probably starts and stops with Ben Kolar hitting Stanford. Because the Norman North tight end is obviously a longtime priority target for Oklahoma, ostensibly an Oklahoma lean going into his official visits. And he's going to take a midweek to OU next week. That visit starts next Wednesday, June 3rd. But in the meantime, he heads out to the farm to check out Stanford this weekend. And the thing you always got to worry about with Stanford, especially with high academic achievers, and as we know, Ben's dad, Dr. Randy Kolar, is a longtime professor at the University of Oklahoma. Especially guys like this, man, guys that are wired a certain way, they can get swept up in the Stanford prestige. And this is why Stanford tries to get on the official visit slate with their key targets early in the process as opposed to late. Because what they want is for you to shut it all down, commit to Stanford because you are completely overwhelmed by how special of an opportunity it is to be a Stanford football player and to get a free education at Stanford University and not even worry about taking the rest of your official visits.
Yeah, man. You look at a lot of football players that come out of Stanford, even most recently guys like Andrew Luck and Richard Sherman. Highly intelligent dudes, man. Highly intelligent. So that's nothing to ignore. Is it the academic factor, or is there other things that have piqued the interest of Ben Kolar to the point where he's taking an OV and has Stanford pretty high on his list?
Yeah, it's also the tight ends coach, Nate Byam, out there, who himself played in the NFL.
Correct, yes.
He played in the league, and the way he sees it, he can develop, he can produce, he can play a lot in that offense. There are some concerns baked into the pie at Stanford, but hey, man, despite the fact that they play in a conference where they always have to travel over 1,000 miles for any road game not named Cal, or playing in front of what is quite often a very, very light crowd on Saturdays. I mean, that might be the worst attended P4 program on Saturdays in the fall in the entire state of California, even more so than UCLA. It doesn't get talked about. But outside of that, man, Stanford's prestigious academically. A Stanford degree can get you far in life. Andrew Luck, of course, is the GM there. And they got a brand-new head coach in Tavita Pritchard that you would think is going to kind of bring his own vibe to the program. And so it's not going to be just the same old Stanford that it's been for, a decade plus now. Ever since Jim Harbaugh left, Stanford really hasn't been consistently relevant since then.
No.
They've had highlights at times, but have not been consistently competitive since Jim Harbaugh made the move to the NFL. I guess that was a decade and a half ago, man. I think his last season at Stanford would have been 2010. Good grief. It's been a while. So as Ben Kolar goes to Stanford, I think all Oklahoma has to do is hope that kid doesn't shut it down. Because if he doesn't shut it down, if he doesn't commit to Stanford, I think he winds up at Oklahoma. I think that's a pretty safe assumption at this point. Jason Witten and the OU staff have just done tremendous work. Really turning the tide with that kid because they weren't favored 4 months ago when Jason White joined the staff. I'll tell you that much.
Jason Witten,
excuse me. Yeah. Witten and OU, they have done a remarkable job to position themselves where they are right now in Ben Kolar's recruitment. OU Smash says, have you been to Stanford? LOL, that campus is awesome. It is OU Smash. I've only ever seen pictures, never been there in person.
Neither have
I want to get out there someday, man, because it does look unbelievable.
It's a nice place to live, too, out there in Palo Alto.
Yeah, one of those places that, if they ever got good at football, they'd be scary.
Yeah.
But they also have a pretty narrow pool of student athletes that they can recruit because the academic rigor and the academic standards to get admitted into Stanford are so high. And so it comes with its challenges, as every place does. But it'll be interesting to see whether the combination of Andrew Luck and Tavita Pritchard, who played quarterback together on some of the same teams at Stanford in the late 2000s, can return the Cardinal to national prominence.
And I tell you what, for Ben Kolar, I will say that's got to be flattering to have that much interest from Stanford. Obviously, that means they think of you even a lot as a person, not just as a football player as well, and as a student too. That's got to be an accomplishment.
On the text line, Cave Springs Sooner asks, is Kobe McKenzie trying to come back to OU? I mean, Kobe McKenzie is at Northwestern. And this is going to be his final year of eligibility, so he would not have the opportunity to come back to OU. He's going to play his final season at Northwestern as a graduate transfer, and then hopefully he gets a chance in the NFL. Hopefully. But no, he will not wind up a Sooner again. Glenn from Nashville says, OU should flip the script with Ben and say, hey, come to OU and let your dad be the one that hands you your diploma when you're graduate. Very nice.
Yeah, there you
Papa Boganowski, whose son, of course, took an official visit to Stanford a few years back when he was going through the process, said, can confirm Stanford campus is dope. Facilities needed an upgrade as of 2023, but a dope place.
Yeah.
Bob from Cement says, I was worried Graydon Howell would go to Stanford. He loved it, sources say, but finally realized the liberals would take all his cash. That's how they do it out there, isn't it, Bob?
That's a Bob from Cement text if you ever read one.
So, by my count, Oklahoma has 10 uncommitted official visitors coming in this weekend. Grayson, I think this is the comprehensive list. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. If I've overlooked anybody, by all means, bring it to my attention. But I believe that it's just 10 uncommitted official visitors in town this weekend for Oklahoma. I say just 10. That's still a lot. But the list is as follows. Brian Swanson, Corey Laga, Josh Christensen, Uhila Wolfgram, Miles Smith, Bodie Sparrow, Gabe Osborne, Bryce Williams, Brandon Sherrard, Jacoby Dixon. That's the group. I believe that is the exhaustive list. Thumbnail sketch on each of these guys. Brian Swanson, 4-star offensive tackle from South Oak Cliff High School in Dallas. Corey Laga, 4-star interior offensive line projection out of Lamont, Illinois. Josh Christensen, 3-star defensive lineman and a versatile one from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Uhila Wolfgram, 3-star edge rusher and a really talented player from the state of Utah. Spanish Fork, Utah. Miles Smith, gifted edge rusher from the state of Michigan. Farmington, Michigan. 4-star kid, highly athletic, highly coveted by multiple P4 programs that will host him for OVs, including Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, etc. Missouri, another one. Bodie Sparrow, 4-star athlete, safety projection for OU. And he is a native of Kaysville, or I should say a product of Davis High School in Kaysville, Utah. Gabe Osborne, of course, you know him. You love him. Borderline 5-star cornerback from just up the road in Mustang, Oklahoma. Bryce Williams and Brandon Sherrard, a pair of cornerbacks. Williams from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Sherrard from Shadow Creek High School down in the Houston area in Texas. Both of those guys are blue chippers. And then Jacoby Dixon, high 3-star running back out of Brenham, Texas. Cave Springs Sooner says, I asked Parker Thune. He said Kobe can't come back. Cave Springs, I don't think that text was intended for me. For us. I believe that text was supposed to go elsewhere, but clearly we are – Cave Springs Sooner is the middleman.
Uh-huh. Between us and
somebody. He's playing middleman between us and someone somewhere. Santa John wants to know, will there be any commitments this weekend, and if so, who might they be? That's kind of the natural question that follows when you run through the 10 uncommitted official visitors. And I'll be honest – none of these guys outside of Jacoby Dixon are guys that I necessarily expect to make a decision this weekend. Now, on a weekend like this, oftentimes there is one that you don't expect. So who could that be? Could it be a guy like Corey Lager or Josh Christensen, both of whom are making their first trip to Oklahoma? Could it be Brian Swanson, whom, as I said, I think that kid is going to Texas, but internally there's a confidence, and there's been a confidence from the OU staff that they're going to be able to turn the tide. Might Oklahoma seal the deal with Uhila Wolfgram? I don't think that happens before he gets the chance to OV BYU. But yeah, man, I think best case scenario, you can convince Bodie Sparrow to shut it down. That would be monumental for this program. It's not something I expect. And similarly, I don't expect Gabe Osborne to commit. But if there's two guys on the wish list going into this weekend that Oklahoma fans would love to get committed before their OVs are finished, it's certainly Sparrow and Osborne. I talked to Graydon Howell down at the opening in Dallas on Sunday, Grayson, and he said, yeah, all of us are making sure that Bodie Sparrow and Gabe Osborne know their priorities at Oklahoma. We need them. We want them at Oklahoma. Those are the two guys that we're all going after.
That's big time. When it comes to, there's two that I'm watching. Brian Swanson, just because he continues to linger around the discussion, even though we've thought, okay, this is a Texas guy, he's still hanging around. That I'm going to be interested to follow.
Yeah.
And then Corey Laga. Oklahoma jumped into that race pretty late, considering things, and you've heard some things about Vanderbilt with Corey Laga. I wonder if Oklahoma can go from almost pull off another DeZephan Walker in a way, where they enter late and then are able to enamor the kid enough to go ahead and get him to commit as well. Those are the two that I'm following, I think, the most.
Colin Claremore says, whoever sent the Kobe text spends too much time on Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Could be true. Papa Boganowski added, we met Condoleezza Rice on the Stanford visit. She's a big-time on-campus recruiter.
That's cool.
It is cool, but, in terms of powerhouse recruiters on behalf of your program, I don't know that Condoleezza Rice is the best figure.
But I will say this, though. That's pretty Stanford, though.
It is. It's very Stanford. But, heck, these days, I bet there's a decent amount of those kids that don't even know who Condoleezza Rice is. Yeah, they need the whole explanation.
I was like you and I would know, but there's about a 10-year gap between us and some of these kids.
As we wrap up, we'll go a little bit off topic for just a second. Trucking Sooners wants to know, I'm curious what Grayson thinks about Game 5 tonight.
Oklahoma City's got to come out with a lot more energy than they did in Game 4. They looked really flat, and it looked like San Antonio not only was the aggressor, but they were the ones that said, no, we're going to take it to them today, be it physicality, be it speed, and they out-game planned Oklahoma City as well, and we're the more desperate team. So I think if you're Oklahoma City, you don't want to go back to San Antonio down 3-2 and give the Spurs two chances to eliminate you. So it's going to start with energy. They cannot come out flat like they have in the last two games. That's what I'm looking at for tonight. What about you, Parker?
I just hope both teams have fun. No, I'm
have you watched
not that much of a casual, but
have you watched any of the series?
I'm pretty sure I've watched parts of every game.
Okay.
might have watched Game 3 in its entirety. I don't know if I've watched any of the other games in their entirety, but I just hope we have the type of game that doesn't have NBA Twitter all up in arms about the age-old Shai Gilgeous-Alexander foul baiting debate, because there's nothing more annoying than when that's all over my timeline. I hope we get a good close game.
Are
I
you
hope we
going?
get good basketball.
Are you gonna watch tonight?
Am I gonna watch tonight? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch.
I didn't know. I don't know how much NBA you watch.
I mean, there ain't nothing else going on right now. So
okay, this is a fair point.
OU softball just got eliminated. We got the NBA. What else?
Yeah,
that's it.
All
right, folks. That's all for today here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. Thanks for riding along with us. Coming up next, it's Tyler McComas and Teddy Lehman with 3 more hours of OU sports talk. The Rush kicks off on the other side, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place here on Locked In.